Hey, I'm Mitch, and today I'm going to show you what you can expect from the new map Breeze in the upcoming VCT matches. Let's start by taking a look at some of the hot spots on the map. First of all, like with most maps, there's only two spots to plant on. A, which is a site with two giant pyramids, and B, which has that big tower right in the middle of a vast open square. You can already see the difference between Breeze and every other map. It has a huge amount of open space. This also makes it very difficult to commit to fakes. If you try to fake B, for example, you barely have enough time to find a set strategy and make your way towards that A site. While spots are the ultimate goal to defend or attack for any team, two other points will be the bottleneck of most strategies. Tube, which is right next to the A site, and then the obvious mid control. While it sounds normal to take control of middle, things are a little bit different on Breeze. To show you, let's take a look at Ascent, for example. Ascent, if you put one smoke down, you can often limit the angles your opponents peek from in middle to one, and sometimes stop them peeking altogether. On Breeze, however, there are endless angles to hold at long distance. Agents can come from all of these positions, and if you want to control mid, you'll have to cover them all. Tube, on the other side, is a little bit easier. It's a typical Mexican standoff. You'll see operator players here holding on range, and here's why it's important to get that mid control. If you were pushing the A side, for example, and you have control over mid and tube, you limit the angles your opponents can come from massively. On the other side, if you take the A side without having that control, you're now open to a wide array of angles that your opponents can peek in and take you down from. In general, I think A is probably the spot we'll see the most action from. B feels like a more traditional spot. Although it is very vast and empty in the middle, there are just two choke points, one of which is deep in middle. Alright, so we've talked about the map in general, but let's take a deeper dive into the agents and the weapons that we'll expect to see here. We've already said that this map contains a lot of open space and long-range angles. So your intuition should tell you long-range weapons are going to be the way to go. Of course, to start with, you're going to want an operator in your team. Let's face it, two would be even better. And with the recent price changes, why not? One you can use for the tube, a long-range angle with very little possibility of being pushed from a wider angle than you're scoped in on. With the other one, you can look at the B site, for example. Holding down that singular choke point, you now control a lot of the map with just those two operators. But even with the price changes, these weapons are still expensive. So you might want to go for a Marshal, especially in the early game. On top of that, why not pick up a Guardian? It's now cheaper than it ever was, it's accurate, and it will get you a lot of kills on Breeze. The perfect choice for any marksman. Oh, and if you're going to ask about a Phantom or a Vandal, I'd say a Vandal is going to be more useful on this map than the Phantom will be. Sure, there's going to be a couple opportunities to use that Phantom. Maybe you're a B defender and you want to hold up close. But more often than not, you're going to find yourself buying the Vandal due to the long range that you're taking duels on. So we've covered hotspots and we've covered weapons. There's only one thing left to discuss. That would be agents. Let's start with the easiest one. We've already said that you're going to expect to use the operator a lot on this map, so you might also expect to see some Jet play. Right now, she's the go-to agent for the operator. So we've already got our first position decided. Now we need to go for a controller. You know, Omen or Astra will be just fine. But Astra's ultimate could finally have its big breakthrough on Breeze. You can cut the whole map in half and finally find the shorter range you desperately need to go for. Next up is Viper. Her smokes, wall, and ulti are just perfect in every scenario on this map. Whether it's mid, B, or A that you want to hit, that wall can provide a ton of value. On retakes, it can make even the most impossible situation seem possible. And like with Astra, she's important to shorten those distances on the map and take the vision away from your opponents. Last but not least, we have information. For the info characters, we're going to take a look at Skye and Cypher. Skye's flashes are golden for an open map like this. You can get all the information you need with her abilities. Since her last changes, she can shoot while popping those flashes, which makes her timing even more important and almost turns her into a hybrid duelist a lot of the time. On top of that, we'll see more Cypher over Killjoy as a Sentinel, just because his camera covers a big open area, and well, Killjoy's ultimate it's just not really that good on Breeze. The radius is way too short to cover even half of the spots when retaking a site. Not saying that it won't be used, but it's certainly going to be limited in its capabilities. Cypher, Sky, Jet, Astra, and Viper. Now, that's a pretty good setup to take control on Breeze, but I'm sure there's going to be many different interpretations of exactly what a good agent select is here. Breeze is the final map in the pool. Maybe some teams will surprise us with some ridiculous strategies.